Yo, blunt after blunt after blunt after blunt after blunt after that, then another. Chillin' with my niggas and my brothers. Couple bitches say they with it, probably gon' have them undercovers. Yeah, they all smoke, hit up cold, tell them that we need some more. Already got some rock in the honey jack, little bit of fireball, we picking up the papers at the stove. I got it for the low, that's free shit. Fans wanna see me get the tree lit, probably eat up all the sweet shit. Now I'm writing all the deep shit.
All right,
episode 30, baby.
Episode 30.
Let's get it, man.
Quarantine to our homes, as everyone says. Maybe we'll get more listens this week because everyone's quarantined.
Let's hope. So I don't know like what you've been hearing, but so I've seen something that the CDC is recommending that 8 weeks. That's 2 months.
Yeah. We were for some reason we still held my fantasy baseball draft last night, just because I think everyone just still wanted a semblance of normalcy. So
yes,
because the season was supposed to start in 2 weeks. It was actually the earliest start in like a long time. It was going to start in March, late March. And we did the draft, and like halfway through it, the commissioner guy was like, hey, my wife just got like an email from her friend that works in the government saying that they're banning groups of 50 or more, for the next 8 weeks. And we were just all like, oh, God. Thank you. I asked them at the end of it, I was like, are you going to, like, if the season doesn't happen, are you going to simulate the season on like MLB The Show and still pay out the winner?
Still have it. Yeah.
Like, can we all agree to that or something? It'll still be kind of fun, I guess. I don't know, but no, I heard that. I think I saw, but it's more of a suggestion, I guess. They can't actually outlaw people from gathering. Maybe. Correct. I don't know. Maybe they can, but they haven't yet. It hasn't like become a law or anything. But I know my bachelor party's fucked. So
no,
real
shit,
out
bro.
This morning I was like,
but you know what's dope? You know what's dope? I could still probably make your bachelor party now.
Well,
motherfucking yeah, bro.
I know you said you have a wedding in May. I was supposed to go to 2 different weddings in May, and now I'm like,
oh, they're done.
Ooh, ours is early June. Ours might have to get pushed or something. Who knows?
So we had a wedding. We were going to we were going to fly to in Mexico. That got canceled over the weekend.
Oh wow.
So they're pushing that back, and the first thing I'm doing after I get off. Yep, the first thing I'm doing after this podcast is calling the airline to see if we could at least. I know they're not going to give us a refund, but at least give us a voucher that's worth the exact amount. So that way, if they reschedule we can use that.
From what I heard, some airlines are giving refunds right now.
I mean, you have no
partial or full, but I know that I booked because I used my points to book the bachelor party flights. I went through Capital One, and they sent me an email over the weekend saying, we know you're trying to call in, cancel your travel, like bear with us. Only if your travel's in the next 5 days, please call in. Like, we have so many. Dude, I sat on phone for 35 minutes on Friday afternoon, I think. Or maybe Friday morning. No answer. It just never talked to a person, never answered. I just all right, I guess I'll call back later. I don't know. Because, I mean, everybody's trying to cancel or book because they're stuck out of the country or something. So I get it. It's wild right
Contact centers are flooded right now. Yeah, and I know I was talking to my other boy. So the wedding I was supposed to go to on May 2nd, which is why I couldn't come to your bachelor party. I spoke to him last night, and he's like, we haven't sent out the official cancellation yet because if we're the ones to cancel it, we don't get a refund. The organization has to cancel it, and then we get our refund.
Ooh,
so they have to wait for them.
Thanks for telling me that.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Do not cancel it on your own.
Yeah.
Do not. You have to, because if you cancel it, they could be like, well, too bad, so sad. But if they are forced to cancel it on their own, they have no choice but to give you your money back. So do not cancel that shit on your own.
Dude, I can't remember a time since I've been alive that there has, all right, maybe 9/11, where nothing else was talked about, period. And it's not, it's for lack of not having anything else to talk about. There's literally nothing else going on because it's all shut down for this shit. I remember we were watching a movie on Wednesday night, and shit just kept rolling in on like just notifications from Google News or tweets saying like Trump shutting down travel from Europe, NBA is postponed, Rudy Gobert has coronavirus, like all this different shit, and you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is going down right now? It's wild. It's weird too, because certain people are panicking too much, and I think some people I know have, I mean, you don't need a panic period, but are not taking it seriously enough either. I've been told by multiple friends of mine that it's just the flu, or it's just the same thing, and I was like, it doesn't seem to be the same thing, because they don't do this for the flu. They don't do this for the cold.
Okay, I can dispel that myth for you right now.
Sure.
So, okay, here's the statistics that I've heard from multiple sources on this. So the flu kills about, on average 0.01 of the people it affects every year. Yeah. So like on a really bad year, like I think it was like 2 years ago, where it killed 80,000 people in a year, that's like a really bad year for the flu.
Yeah.
Now, this virus is killing people at 0.06 rate, right, of infected worldwide. So that is
6 times already
magnitudes higher than the flu. And they're projecting that on the worst case scenario, this could kill almost 1 million people this year in America alone. Oh no! Well, no. I think was that America? Well, yeah. I'm pretty sure that was in America alone. It could, on the worst end of it, can kill almost 1 million people. Now, if we're talking about on the worst year of the flu, we're talking almost 100,000, and for this, we're talking on the worst end almost 1 million.
10
and they're
times
saying.
Worse.
Yeah, and they're saying on the conservative side, when this is all said and done, it could have killed 500,000 people in America.
Yeah.
On the conservative side.
Did you listen to the infectious disease guy on Rogan?
Of course.
Yeah. His first statement was 10 to 15 times worse than the yearly, like this the highest flu that they have. Yeah,
this is not the flu.
But then on the other end of the spectrum, you have people buying, 6 months worth of toilet paper and leaving the rest of us to not have any, or 6 months worth of soup. I don't know, all different shit that lasts long. But it's like, if you just bought 2 weeks worth like you normally do, or a week's worth, like everyone would have some, and you're not going to run out. But people are freaking. Lydia's freaking out right now. She's at the store for the third time in like 5 days right now. So.
Bruh, my girl too, man.
Yeah, I'm just like, all right, well, it's so funny. I would consider myself somewhat of a prepper, just somewhat. So I have a box, and in that box it contains plastic bags, and these plastic bags contain water, filtered water, like not that I filled up myself, but that I bought. That lasts for 10 years or longer in these sealed. And it's weird because they're plastic bags, but like sealed, like that you would have almost like salad dressing in from like Chick-fil-A. They're that size, but they're full of, water. And you rip them open and use them when you need to. I also have like one of those camping / prepper boxes of like the mountain, like add water food. And I actually bought it for like kind of both reasons, because I was doing a decent amount of camping at the time. And I mean, it's easy when you're out there, just pour the water in it and it's ready to go. And they don't taste bad. But I told Lydia, I was like, hey, we're good. We're good. If we need to eat those those add hot water meals, those MREs basically is what they are. We're doing it.
Dude, and I don't have anything like that. And I'm not at the point yet where I believe that that's necessary. I think that scenarios that would require that are for those diseases that force you into isolation, like permanently. Take, for example, like if Ebola took over, if the Black Death came back, diseases that kill people at a clip of like 30% or more, then you got to just get off the face of the earth and like just bounce to the woods. Those are where you need this for. But I think if Italy is an example, like everything else has shut down, but supermarkets are still open.
From what I heard, though, stores may be closing around here.
Really?
Yeah, that's why Lydia went today, because limited hours were announced like at the beginning of the weekend for like, shit you wouldn't expect, Walmart and every other grocery store, and now it's limited hours because they don't have people to work, because they're all at home because their kids are at home. because they don't have people to watch their kids because schools are closed and daycares are closed. It's like a fucking snowball.
It's that domino,
yeah,
man.
Exactly. So I don't know why I have these this water and this food, but I like that I have this water and this food just in case. Because I mean, it's so weird how I've never seen this many things shut down. Like I deleted the Robinhood app from my home screen because I was like, oh my god, I can't even look at this.
Yeah,
anymore.
it's
gotta leave it. Gotta leave it till we come back from
it.
It's
bad. It's bad, bro.
I had Nvidia and Microsoft stock, and they have both lost all their gains I had for the last 8 months. So so almost both of them back down to like almost even. So I just sold them both, and I was like, all right, I'll keep that money now, and then whenever the fuck it bottoms out, I'll buy back in. Yeah. But I have a couple stocks that are down. I mean, I'm out like $1,000 each or something in them. But it's like you can't. I mean, getting out now would be pointless. You understand why the market's doing what it's doing. It's just, oh god, it's crazy. Like the Federal Reserve cut interest rates to zero. It's like
zero.
Damn, we should have waited to buy a house. What the fuck? It's like, damn, if we had only seen that coronavirus coming, we could have got a house on the cheap. So cheap.
On the low, bro.
Free, basically. You only pay what it's worth. It's like, holy shit, that's a weird concept.
Yeah. That's a steal, man. Yeah, no, it's and again, it's not with viruses that kill people at this rate, which is still high, but very manageable, as we've seen from places such as South Korea. When with something in this range, you can take measures to prevent the spread, to slow everything down. But what ends up fucking you the most is this structural issues that cascade across that you can't really comprehend at the time. That sound like even measures that sound good end up fucking you in worse ways. Like take, for example, sending kids home. A lot of nurses have kids. If you then send a nurse's kids home and there's no daycare, nobody to look after them at home, that nurse is now taken out of the workforce and she can now not assist. God knows how many sick patients she could have helped.
Yeah.
And how many nurses and doctors even will that happen to across the not only the US, but the world. So something tiny such as send kids home, we're like, oh my God, that's great. Such a smart idea. But it is going to have consequences that you can't really determine in the immediacy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, and that's going to happen with thing after thing after thing that on its face, we're going to be like, oh, great job. And then we're going to start suffering the consequences from it a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months later. And we're like, oh, fuck, who could have foretold that this would be something that seems so great? Who could have foretold that this would be the consequence?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm sure whoever made that decision, though, also weighed keeping kids in schools and what. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just which is worse. It's like what's the It's the I guess what is it? The devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't.
Correct.
I mean, I don't know. It's weird because it's unprecedented. Like no one knows what to do almost.
Yeah. I know I don't because there's this part of me like all right. So check it. I've been. You
want to grow that beard? You want to grow that beard and just get out,
bro? I've been struggle busting. Look, it won't even connect. Bro.
I feel like you're ready to hit the woods and or the desert, and be out there forever. Just like, has it stopped yet? We're good out here. I think I haven't seen another person in weeks.
Hey, look, my girl's family, they got a house in the woods in the mountains that is super secluded. We have a contingency plan.
You're going up there, and then she sneezes once, and you're like, huh.
All right, got to kick her out.
And then you guys are just like, you draw a line down a house, you're battling it out. You never know, man. Shit's gonna go crazy,
plots, bro. It happens that quick.
Yeah, right.
But no, like, so even for someone like me, okay, all right, I don't want to. I'm obviously avoiding, large gatherings and trying to stay as isolated as possible. But I'm a fanatic for the gym and basketball, and I still want to do those things. So I've still been going. Truth be told, and it's like I've been super cautious, been washing my hands, blah blah blah. But then it's like, at what point does going to the gym then become
a negative?
Stupid?
Yeah.
When does it become stupid?
Yeah, I'm so glad was able to build one in our house because I've been using that. I mean, I went to the gym once last week. I didn't feel, scared. And I went bowling Sunday for my brother-in-law's birthday, and everybody was weirded out. My mom brought all these wipes and shit. But then, like, my dad brought donuts because my brother-in-law, he's not like a cake guy, so he brought these really good donuts, and he had like the regular big size donuts in a box. But then he had like the donut holes, like the little small ones, in a bag, and people were just reaching in and taking them out. And in my head I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. And also, even if this shit wasn't going around, I don't think I would do that because I don't think I'll do that. Yeah. And like I don't know, certain people weren't freaking out, and then my brother is like watching his daughter, who's like 1.5, just super close. What's she doing? Where is she? And it was just like, I mean, if you get it, you get it, whatever. But I don't know, it's either, I think you got to do all or nothing. Like, you're either isolating yourself or you're not. Because I mean, there's no in between, really. Like, I mean, obviously, you said you listened to the Rogan episode. I mean, washing your hands is great and all, but the shit is airborne. It really won't help too much. I mean, it's just a good habit to have. And maybe that's one good thing that'll come out of this. Everyone in the world will be just a little bit cleaner, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I've been trying to tell my brother, my Caitlin, my girl. I've been trying to tell everybody that will listen that this whole idea that you can just wash your hands and put some Purell on and everything's good, guys. No, we have confirmation that if you are in the vicinity of someone who has it, there is a very good possibility that you will catch it as well. So it's like you said, man, if you're going to live your life, because when you live your life on the middle, you become super stressed. And as one guy I was watching the other day said, if you're stressing out about getting it, that is dangerous for you too, because stressing annihilates your immune system, which makes you more susceptible to catching diseases. So don't be in that middle ground where you're super stressed. It's either stay in the crib or just say, fuck it, and live your life. Because whatever you could do to alleviate the stress of being in the middle, do that. Because and then it's like, if you're a younger person, I know the idea is like, I'll probably be good. But then again, we're not just thinking about ourselves. We're thinking about the older people who are in our lives that we want to see live as long as possible. So we gotta be, it's just being smart, man.
Yeah, I saw today that the worldwide deaths have surpassed the ones in China finally, which is like, oh damn, that's not great. I mean, it's not good either way, but I saw. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, mine's. I mean, we're gonna be all over the place today. So go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to know. Okay, for as far as afraid as people in America are, I'm curious to what steps they would be willing to take to actually prevent this thing from spreading like a wildfire. Because, we are not a communist country where somebody can just strike down the gavel and we have to do what they say. Take, for example, there was a guy, you've heard about the guy who possibly had coronavirus, went and got tested, and before he got his results, got on a plane and flew somewhere. And turns out he had it. And he flew on JetBlue and they banned him for life. So it's like, because in China, they would have probably killed him, right? So the thought of doing something like that wouldn't have crossed people's minds. But you have people like that who make me mad beyond just the idea that this guy did this. I have no relationship to this guy. I don't know who he is. But he makes me so fucking angry. Why would you put other people's lives in jeopardy? And it's because we have a free country. Not everything is great. Like, communism isn't all bad. Democracy isn't all good. And the things about democracy that are very frustrating and you can say are bad things is people like that can say, well, this is a free country. I can do what I want, and literally kill people.
Yeah.
And we just have to shrug our shoulders and be like, well, it is a free country. You got to crack a few eggs, So that's the shit about this whole thing that just, I'm like, fuck, y'all sit here scream like I want to make sure I don't get people sick, but I'm still going to get turned up at the club tonight. Yeah. Come on, man. Which one?
Yeah, I saw there's a story irresponsible Disney World slammed for holding huge Magic Kingdom farewell party right before they shut down for coronavirus.
Stupid, man.
And then this one said, woman carrying coronavirus flies 13 hours from Los Angeles to Beijing to seek treatment after being denied tests 3 times in the U.S. So that also feels like she's just spreading it the fuck around.
That's fucking
Oh, yeah,
crazy,
masks don't help either, so don't fucking buy them.
Yeah, the medical professionals need them, and medical professionals legitimately can't get them, and you're just crippling by hoarding stuff, man. You are, fuck, man. People, dude. People, man. That shit is frustrating beyond belief. I saw this older lady, right, as I was going grocery shopping the other day. She bought 3 large-sized bottles of soap, liquid soap. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, lady,
You ain't gonna wash your hands that much.
You wouldn't use those. No, it's for body wash.
Oh, okay.
Body wash. I'm like, even in the same thought, though, you wouldn't use that body wash if your life depended it in the next year.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
So why are you doing that? Why are you making it harder for other people? Like, do y'all not realize, like, we're in this shit together? And this is the part about this is when things about America start rearing their ugly head, because we are not a collectivist society, we're an individualistic society. So these things start becoming glaringly obvious when we're in crises, right? So everybody's acting on the every man for himself principle. And man, I don't think that's the way to go. That's not how we got here. This is not how we're biologically developed.
But isn't I can't say I don't see it coming, at least from our country.
Like what coming?
People being for themselves and not for others. I mean, I think that's how people are normally, at least in this country. That's my experience. I don't see it as I don't see people in this country as more or less, than anyone else in any other country, but I could see this happening. It's not a surprise at all to me that people would hoard. And I mean, when it comes down to people are ignorant. Most people are probably really stupid. And if you don't actually know what's going to happen, you get worried and you do dumb things. And I think that's what most people that are hoarding are doing right now. So it's sad, and it's unfortunate that people can't buy toilet paper right now. But still,
You see this guy?
Yeah. I saw that these brothers bought $17,700 bottles of hand sanitizer for $1 each, and tried to sell them for $70 each. And criminal charges are now being brought against them. Yeah. They had to give them all away for free, so they're out $17,000 plus they're getting charged.
Wow, bruh.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking
People are being
savage,
wild
dude.
out here, right? It's like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
It's like you shouldn't be able to profit off human suffering. That's never oh God. I was like, you know what? I read news all the time, but I don't read Daily Mail anymore. I love Daily Mail. It's got the wildest headlines. Oh God. You know what TikTok is?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have a TikTok, but I know, people do. It's just, I guess, short videos. But apparently there's a coronavirus challenge. This 22-year-old licked an airplane toilet seat.
Wow, bruh. Wow.
Did I?
Are you serious?
If you rewind this podcast maybe 3 minutes, you'll hear me say most people are stupid. I stand by that statement.
Why would you, man? Dude, people will do anything for the gram, bro. I know this is not the gram,
Yeah, I know.
People will do anything for that 15
like
seconds
I said,
of
it's
fame,
still
man.
people trying to take advantage of other people's misery. Like that's what people are trying to do right now, and it's unfortunate. Some weird positives of this are gas prices are super fucking low. If you can actually get a flight now, who knows if they're going to close the airports, but if you can actually get a flight, they're fucking nothing.
Yep. I was seeing round trips from Hawaii and back, $200.
Yeah, I was trying to cancel my flights to Vegas. That's why I was calling Capital One, to cancel them and rebook them for cheaper because they're so much cheaper. But now it's like, fuck, I can't. I'm probably not even going to be able to rebook. Also, I saw that Steam, the video game platform for computer, like PC, that's where most people play their games on PC. They broke their record for most people on at one time on Saturday. It was like over 20 million concurrent, like people playing at one time.
Damn.
And then I also saw
that's a lot of fucking people.
I don't know if you heard about Call of Duty Warzone. You know what that is?
No.
So obviously Modern Warfare has been out since November or late October, but they've been promising the Battle Royale mode of it. And they finally put it out on Tuesday last week. And it started with 6 million people playing it, which is a lot in the first week.
Yeah.
And by Sunday, 15 million people were playing it.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Steam had 20 million people playing all their games. And it's almost every game you could ever think of, except for certain ones that certain people have on only their platforms. Just Call of Duty had 15 million.
That is nuts, man.
But the game is awesome too, so there's that.
Yeah. So I have been I've been reading a lot. So my Xbox subscription ended 2 weeks ago, and I was just like, online? You know what? Online, and I was doing Game Pass. So none of the games I even had purchased.
Game Pass is actually worth it though. It's for Xbox, not for PlayStation. The shit for PlayStation is terrible. But Xbox, I had it on PC just as like a trial, and they have a shit ton of like almost brand new games. You're like, what the fuck? This just came out.
Yeah, they have a lot of games. So like, I was doing that, and I was going to renew my subscription, but I was like, you know what? I want to finish these books that I'm reading. I want to be more focused on that. Fuck video games for now. But now I almost have no choice. But dude, like, I love reading, but you could only read for so long. Like, I'm gonna run through my books, and I'm gonna run through my books. So
you gotta
quick.
have multiple things to do.
Yeah, and it's like now, like,
hey, I'm gonna let you know, Warzone's free.
Wait, what?
It's free to download the Battle Royale and play it, and that's all I play now. We haven't played the multiplayer like Team Deathmatch, any of that stuff since it came out. So in a whole week,
for real,
it's free for everyone. So PC, Xbox, PlayStation, all cross-platform. It's the best Battle Royale game out there, by the way. 150 players in a map that's massive.
Hey, Bentley, come here. That's for real.
And have you ever played a Battle Royale game like Fortnite or the last Call of Duty had a Battle Royale on it? There's like PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battleground. There's a bunch of different ones people play. But it's, the concept is the map is massive, and then it gets smaller as you play. Like, it gets smaller, and if you're outside of this designated circle, you will die. So you have to steadily be in a closer area with everyone else on the map. But you can pick to start in the entire thing. And the Call of Duty one is 150 players start each match. And I just won last night for our first time.
What?
Yeah, we got second like 10 different times, but it's intense. And so there's a money system, which has never been in like a Battle Royale before. So you collect money from killing players and from just little boxes, and you can buy like kill streaks, or you can buy your teammate back if they die. But one of the coolest features is the first time you die, as long as it's not right at the end, you go into the gulag, like the prison with all the other people that have been killed, and you fight to the death 1v1 against another guy while everyone else stands above you watching, and you just have like a pistol, and you fight 1v1 in these like gulag showers, and then the winner gets dropped right back out the airplane with their parachute into the world, and you can go join your team again, or pick your team back up if they're dead, and the other guy is just out.
So this happens for everyone who gets sent there?
Yeah. Yeah, and you can stand up there and throw rocks at the people while they're playing, and it actually hurts them. It takes 1 point of health of the 100 they have. But yeah, it's funny because you can actually, if the person only had 1 health left, you could hypothetically you could kill them with a rock while your teammate's fighting them or something. And like if you're both in there at the same time, you tell your teammate because you can oversee it. You're like, all right, he's to your left, he's to your right, he's in the center, like, and so you can help him win. It's wild. I have probably 12 different people on Call of Duty that I play with regularly, and we were always like having a hard time getting only 6 in a room because that's how many you could have in a party to play multiplayer. This you can only have 3, so it's either you can play by yourself with a partner or in 3s. So people are getting on and getting like left in the dust, like no one to play with. It's funny as shit, but dude, it's
why they drop it down to that?
So 6 in battle royals, it's only ever been 4. Like that's the most you could ever have on a team. But since it's only 150 players, 4 doesn't divide into that evenly. 3 does. Eventually, they're going to make it 200 and teams of 4 as well. But you can, if you want to play by yourself, you can go in by yourself and fight against teams of, the teams of 3 or 2 or 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, there's vehicles, helicopters, Jeeps, like just things to drive around the map to get in the circle faster, gas masks to be out in the circle, like the gas for longer. It's so wild. And it's free, like I said. Completely free. You wouldn't even have to have Xbox Game Pass or whatever to get it. You don't have to have PlayStation Plus to get it. Normally you do. Like to get something free like that online, but it's free. Like no money free. And they'll ask you when you go in there, it'll show you like you can buy different stuff or buy the full game or whatever, but it's to play just the Battle Royal, like, and the massive insane map with 150 players, it's completely free.
All right, I might have to fuck with it.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy because so many people are doing this right now. Like they're just trying to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me grab my dog because Lord knows what he's up to. Give me a sec.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah. I definitely have to check that game out.
I talked to my mom on Saturday and I was telling her something and she told me, she confirmed it basically that I've always been like this. So I don't know if do you ever have an issue entertaining yourself? Do you get bored?
Yeah, very much so.
I never get bored. I don't get bored. I never have a lack of something to do, even if it's just like getting lost in my head. Obviously, that's maybe a talent or a hindrance
or a sign of insanity.
Yeah, right. But I've never had that problem. Like, it's weird that almost not until Saturday did I realize it, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because so many people are stuck inside right now. But it's like I have never run out of something to do, and like I've always had this weird thing when my friends like, they want to do something else than what we're doing right now. I don't understand why they're not satisfied with what they're doing currently. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm entertained by everything. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And maybe that's why, like, I don't watch bad movies. I've not really seen a bad movie because if it's bad, I'm not going to watch it. And I don't know. I'm even movies that people don't like. When I watch them, I find something entertaining about them. So I don't know. It's weird. But right now, because so many people are trying to figure out things to do, I thought it was why I've been thinking about it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, that I think what you're saying is that not that you don't get bored, it's that you always have a way of figuring out how to entertain yourself.
Well, yeah.
So you could get
I could get bored, but I can move on quickly. Yeah, I can move on quickly.
Yes, you can. Because that may just be that just may be speak to your just breadth of things that you've engaged in that interest you, right?
Yeah,
so because you can
not tied to one thing by any means. There's so many different things.
Because here's the thing: for some people, only Instagram and Facebook will entertain them, right?
Yeah.
So you can only spend so much time on there.
And those didn't entertain me. You know,
yeah, no, those never entertained me.
Instagram, maybe, but I wanted to post stuff and get the fuck off. Like, I just wanted to put my pictures up there and then have a place to display them. But other than that, I don't find it interesting to see what other people are doing.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, dude.
Yeah.
So that's more a testament to how many things that you've engaged in that you have found that interest you, so that when it comes to a time like, all right, I'm done playing. I've played video games enough. Let me go pick up a book.
Yeah.
Oh, I've read enough. Let me go look on the computer and research X.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done enough of that. Let me go play with Frank. I've done it. So throughout an entire day, you just hop from thing and thing. Not necessarily. It's not that you ever get into a state where like, I'm fucking bored doing this. It's that once you've had your fill of doing that thing, you have surrounded yourself by enough things.
I don't let my mind
turn to the next thing.
Yeah, I don't ever let my mind rest, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I think that's more what you're describing.
And maybe sleep is so important to me, and it didn't used to be. A lot of it came from that episode with Matthew Walker that Joe Rogan did, the sleep scientist, neuroscientist or whatever he was. But it's just, I don't know. That's the only time it's not going full speed, I guess.
Yeah. So for me, I'm a big. My problem I've always had, like you said, but I've known this since I was young. I'm a daydreamer. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like my mind wanders, bro. And so that for me has always been my way of never really being in a state of boredom. Is that I can just I can spend an hour daydreaming and the TV could be on, whatever. And it's like, I have no idea what just happened. And I've read a lot into it because I thought maybe, so I'm a serial killer. It's only a matter of time before I start chopping up bodies.
Yeah.
But I've read a lot that says daydreaming is actually like a pretty good thing, that it's your mind kind of connecting different neurons, creating different scenarios. And it's a way of, I think it's forecasting the future that is actually quite healthy and useful for you. But obviously there's an extent to where, like, if you spend 6 hours of your day daydreaming, then that's not really the most productive thing in the world.
Yeah, I guess.
But I have a tendency to get really lost in my thoughts from time to time, which has helped me. And again, too, I have many different things that interest me. Like, I could turn on the TV, I could watch 3 episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm, be fucking highly entertained, and then I could grab my book and like, all right, I'm gonna read for a couple of hours, and then I'm done with that. I'm like, all right, let me hit the gym, let me work out, and by the end of that, that's a full day, man.
Yeah.
And I get home and I just relax and talk to my girl, and it is what it is. So, and also too, I think it's just. So it's different for you because you said you've always been like this, but for me, it's like an age thing and a maturity thing.
Okay.
Because I'm getting a chance to figure out who I am, and I'm going to tell you why I'm just doing that now is because. So with the issues I had with my father, I started drinking and doing drugs very young. Mm-hmm. So I never got a chance to psychologically and emotionally grow. Right.
Gotcha.
So it's not until I've made a decision to myself to quit drinking and doing all that shit in the past year where I've actually had a chance to rebound and like I'm different. I can feel different pathways connecting in my brain. Like take, for example, like I've had vivid dreams of me getting drunk. And I looked into that and it's like your brain trying to say, okay, you're dealing with a lot of psychological stuff that you use alcohol to numb. Mm-hmm. And now that those things are coming back, your brain is trying to imitate being drunk to not have to process those things at that moment.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Right? So I'm going through this kind of transformation to where like I'm literally figuring out what do I like to do? Who am I outside of like drinking and partying? And I'm actually finding out like I have true interest, because drinking and partying isn't an interest, man.
Yeah, I think that reminds me of a lot of people I know, and I don't think you're the only one that has that issue. I think that not everyone, but obviously people turn to alcohol or drugs or whatever for one reason or another. Yours, as you said, some of it came from your father, but like whatever the reason is, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. Like it numbs a lot of that pain, but it also numbs a lot of the good feelings as well. Like you're not able to I don't know, pick up a hobby or find something you're interested in. And I know a lot of people like that and I mean, definitely the older I've gotten, the less I've gotten, or the more I've gotten away from going out and drinking as a form of fun. Personally, I tried to get people to hang out in non-drinking situations or ones where you can do either or, not necessarily a bar, you know, because if I'm going to a bar, I'm probably going to have a beer. Like, it's just how it's going to work. I'm not going to get drunk anymore because I don't, but I mean, I'll have a couple beers and I don't feel great after that. I just, even if I don't even get a buzz, it's just like, oh, fuck, why'd you put alcohol in here? Or like a bunch of wheat. It's just like, that ain't good for you either.
Dude, so
barley, whatever
I've been
beer
this,
is.
whatever that hops, that bullshit. I've been on a no carb diet basically for the last like 4 months. And I mean, just last night I ate gluten-free pizza because it's like I was doing I'm doing this thing where it's like I've been reading some research that if you're quitting some, especially like diets, a good way to help you maintain a diet is to allow yourself to have a cheat meal once a week.
Okay.
Because it helps get rid of that craving and motivate you throughout the next week to like, oh, next Saturday I get to eat this or whatever, right? So I fucked around and ate too much gluten-free pizza, and that's just too much carbs. My body hasn't had that many carbs in God knows how long. Bro, I woke up in 2 a.m. I shot straight up and almost threw up. Almost violently threw up.
Body's not used to it anymore.
Bro, I scared the shit out of my dog. He's just looking there like, what the fuck happened? And I'm sitting there with my hand over my mouth, standing up like, don't throw up. Don't throw up. Don't throw up. And that is what alcohol does to you. Because that's all alcohol is. It's just carbs, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that all alcohol is equal, because good scotch is not equivalent to Natty Light. For fucking sure. There's a huge difference. But I just think drinking in and of itself, man, it's just it's the fucking worst thing for you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one thing I've heard people say about this, virus, is to avoid drinking as well, just because your immune system doesn't take it well. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you're the only one that is finding out later in life that they need a hobby or don't have one, or they are interested in something new because they're, more conscious than they were in their past. But I mean, a lot of males in their 20s, that's especially early 20s, that's kind of your life. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're in college or not. It's just how it works. You got a lot of testosterone. You want to hang out with your friends. You want to go after girls. I mean, that's how it works. And alcohol is a big part of that. But getting away from that is definitely a good idea. Yeah, as you said, it can be okay in moderation, but at the same time, I'm good on it in moderation as well.
Yeah, I'm good on it in either way. And my question is, so obviously we both want to be dads, we want to be fathers, and we're gonna have these conversations with our kids. And I'm trying to figure out what someone could have told me in my early and late 20s that would have had a huge enough impact on me to convince me that drinking was not a good idea? Or was that something that was inevitable because of the familial structure or destructuring that happened, that it had to be?
I feel like I've thought about that as well.
To stick together and stuff like that.
I feel like I've thought about that as well. And I don't know, it's almost that you would, someone in there, I don't know, if you're trying to explain it to a little kid, I don't know how that's going to work. But if you're trying to explain it to like someone who's, between 18 and 22 type age, and I mean, obviously people drink before they're 21, so that's why I'm including that. And that's probably when I drank the most, really, was between that time or maybe right after college. But I don't know, literally showing them facts about what it does to your body, like being down. I don't know. I don't know if I did. I mean, you hear things, but at the same time, if you're talking about a parent or a role model sitting you down and talking to you about something, how would it stick? I think that's how it would stick, was showing them, images of people that I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah. That's the confusion.
Because I don't know if at that age would I believe someone telling me that, or I'd just be like, fuck you and drink some more.
Yeah. Or I mean, and look, and that's the one of the big things they talk about with fathers staying in their children's lives, because I think what it might be, and this is just theoretical. So my dad didn't drink. Had he been a good father and continued to be in my life, I think just that image in and of itself, if it was somebody I could look up to and respect, and what he was reflecting back to me was a hardworking man who didn't drink, I would have just, would I have still experimented with drinking? Almost undoubtedly. But I would have probably come to the conclusion of like, I would have probably got too drunk a couple of times and been like, you know what? This ain't, does my dad do this? What the person I look up to the most, what is their stance on this? We would have probably had an entirely different relationship, and what he reflected back to me would have encouraged me to take a deeper look at this at maybe 22, 23 instead of 30, right?
Hindsight is 20/20.
Right. And that's I keep asking myself, what do I tell my kids? But one of the biggest things might just be fucking being there, bro.
Well, I mean,
now is the biggest thing.
Now kids, I mean, whatever the generation is now, Z, is it Z? I think it's Z.
I believe it's Z.
They don't drink nearly as much as our generation. Not
correct.
Yeah, like it's not even fucking close. And it's like, oh wow, so what happened? The internet is the internet being like fully formed now, and that's why. Because like when we grew up, it was still a new thing.
There was nothing to do, so we got lit.
It's weird because my dad's parents, I don't know about my grandma, but my grandpa was definitely an alcoholic, and my dad doesn't really drink at all. Like some, but I maybe saw him drunk twice in my life. Like, and it was probably at a wedding, like in a happy way, like not in a bad way. But then I have a friend whose dad, and then I obviously experimented. I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic, but I was a normal college kid that binge drank 6 days a week. I mean, that
sounds like an alcoholic.
Oh, okay. We used to always just say, it's college.
Yeah.
Right? I thought that was the excuse. Alcoholism doesn't start till you get that diploma. That's how. So if you stay 8 years, you're good. You're good. No, but like I have a friend or a guy I knew in high school. I don't think he ever drank. I don't think he's ever even had a sip of alcohol. And for like his dad is one of the heaviest drinkers I ever knew when I was growing up. Like you would call him an alcoholic, not in a way that he was ever mean or like a bad
or abusive
father or anything, but he drank all the time. Like his house was the house that everybody, all the parents went to hang out and get drunk, like, and their kids would hang out together upstairs above where they were getting drunk or whatever. But it's just like, it's weird how it happens. Maybe it's generational, maybe it's hereditary. I don't know, but it's odd how there can be so many different examples of like what your parents' history was with alcohol and what yours is, or what your childhood was like and what your alcohol consumption's like. So, I mean,
for sure.
It's a great, also it's legal. It's available. It's even if you get caught drinking underage,
it's encouraged.
It's not that big of a deal. Like the NFL fucking loves out. Like that may be why more people turn to it than anything, because it is legal. The other, I would say I don't know if heroin's not as bad for you, but I think I mean, maybe in moderation, it's probably better for you than alcohol.
I mean, that's what opiates are.
Yeah.
Heroin is an opiate.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously people get addicted to them very easily, but I'm saying in moderation.
For sure.
But I mean, there's so many other
case for heroin,
like drugs that can be used to either, I guess, cope, that are less harmful than pouring liquid poison into your body. Like,
correct.
It's so crazy.
But like you said, it's encouraged. And your example of that kid that you gave, make no bones about it, that is the exception to the rule.
Oh yeah, like, I don't know anyone else like him.
Most of the time, if your father was a heavy alcoholic,
I don't know anyone else that's sober like that hasn't already had an issue prior, Well,
before.
Yeah. Normally that's like, I met a guy who's like, try not to drink. Like, I get it, but never like that. It's weird. I mean, it's not weird, but it's just, you're right. It is the exception to the rule.
Yeah. The whole point is to find a non-drug induced way of coping. That is the whole point.
I don't
If
think
that
people
life
get,
is gonna get
into exercise early enough. Like, if you didn't play sports, then you're not going to know. One, you're not going to have the athletic kind of skill to work out. I mean, you can learn, obviously, but you're not going to have a head start like kids that played sports. And kids that played sports also are going to have more developed muscles. They're also going to have maybe worked out before because of training for a sport. But it's, I mean, that's a huge one. That's huge.
Yeah.
It's so big.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
ever since I became unemployed, whatever I am now, I've worked out 3 or 4 days every week since. And
Same.
it's more like ramping up. Like, it's more like 4 days now. It was 2 at the beginning. Now it's 3, 4. And it's just like, I don't know. The rest I do
Feel like a different person,
and I
bro.
do it in the morning every time too. Like, I get up, I don't eat, I put gym clothes on, I go into the garage, and I just deadlifts this morning at 7:30. It's like, and it was nothing. Like, the first fucking workout I did though 4 weeks ago, it wasn't my first workout by any means. It wasn't even my first workout in that month or 2 week period or whatever.
Yeah.
I was just like, the fuck is going on? Holy shit! This shit went away quick. But afterwards, even though I was fucking dead, I felt amazing. Like, even though my legs hurt like shit, I feel great. And it's I don't know. It's at least with men, we have too much energy, and you got to get some of it out. The testosterone
100%. causes
that, but it's beneficial for everybody. I mean, just in terms of clearing your mind and focusing on one thing. I would say now that I've done meditation a few times. Meditated, I guess is the word, not done meditation.
Yeah. I mean, it still makes sense.
I guess. I understand that it's very similar to sleeping. It's very similar to working out. It's very similar to when I take a shower randomly. It's a focused, I mean, all of those things, not the shower specifically, but the other 3 is like a breath focused thing where you just focus on the one thing, not the one thing, but one of the things keeping you alive. Yeah. And it's just like when you sleep, your body does it and you're not even conscious. Like your body still breathes for you. It's wild. So you can almost get into that state while you're meditating. And I almost, when you get out of breath that much and have to control your breath again when you're working out or when you're playing basketball, running, whatever, it's almost the same feeling. And then I say the shower because I just tend to stand there forever and just like get lost and like but it's a great place to think and just kind of decompress almost. That it's because you're thinking about the hot water, maybe, I don't know, but it's I've now see the similarities, and all of those things are positive things for you. They're all things that you need to be healthy. I mean, you don't have to shower all the time, but you need a bath every now and then, a shower, something. You got to clean yourself. The rest of it is so necessary, though. Like
100%.
Actually, out of all those, the shower might be the least necessary.
I mean, there are many societies throughout the world who don't shower at all.
Hey, there you go.
So it's it's not a mandatory thing. It's just something we do in first world countries.
Of course.
So I can honestly sit here and tell you today that if it wasn't for working out and playing basketball, I can't confidently tell you I'd still be here. I can't confidently say that because the alcohol and drug consumption, for what it was already abysmal. Had I not had those other things to kind of offset it, who knows the extent to which I would have done these drugs? Who knows what drugs I would have ended up doing? Alcohol, like basketball and working out, were my safe haven for me mentally. Yeah. So even no matter how bad it got, how bad of a night I had drinking, how drunk I got, I could always wake up, go play basketball, sweat it out, and for whatever endorphins I completely annihilated, I could get them back through those feel-good endorphins you get from working out. Yep. So I'm lucky to have found that thing. And for people who don't have a thing that they can do 4 to 5 times a week that gets their heart rate elevated and they're sweating, if you don't have, I don't know how, and you're not seeing a therapist, I don't know how you're doing it. I legit do not know how you're doing it because I would lose. I know I can sit here and say for a fact I would have lost my mind a long time ago. Yeah. This is the only thing that's gotten me through.
Yeah, there's sometimes, and I don't do a lot of cardio, but there's sometimes where like it's a day I'm not going to work out. I'm too sore. Like it's definitely a rest day today. But I walk Frank 3 different times during that day. I'm just walking through the woods, elevated heart rate. You know, it's not all flat, and it's just like, man, this feels good.
You feel wonderful.
This feels good.
You feel absolutely
and you're in nature, so
wonderful.
it's not, it's not too bad.
Yes, there's no question that we were designed to constantly be on this move. This whole thing of sitting down and staring at something for 8 to 10 hours a day is not the norm, which is why people ask themselves, why are you depressed? Before you see a therapist, before you start taking any type of medicine, try working out first.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to feel sad when you play basketball for 3 hours in a day?
Yeah, it's hard.
Do you know how almost impossible it is to be depressed?
Yeah.
You can't function, let alone think about being sad.
No.
When I play basketball, take for example, Saturday, I played basketball. I came home, I couldn't move. I turned on the TV, I was dead. I slept. I woke up so refreshed. I felt so wonderful. And I didn't work out. All I did was play about 3 hours of basketball.
The sleep that you get after working out is
oh my God, man,
up here compared to the sleep that on
oh my God, man.
Because if you do sit for 8 hours, there are days like where yesterday I actually had trouble going to sleep last night because I had a full day and I walked the dog 3 times, but I didn't work out yesterday, and it was just like, damn. When it was like 10:30, I was like, all right, I need to go to bed, but I know I'm not tired. I know I'm not tired right now, but I'm not going to work out right now either. So I already worked out today, and I know tonight is going to be wonderful in terms of sleep. So.
Can I tell you how easily the body adjusts to something? So when up until I started working a full-time job, which is about 5 years ago, up until 5 years ago, for those previous 10 years, I had played basketball an average of 2.5 hours every day for those 10 years up until 5 years ago. Just by me cutting it down to working out for 1 hour a day and playing basketball an hour a day, just that cut down made me gain weight. Just that, going from 3 hours of basketball.
Are you trying to gain weight or trying to lose weight?
No,
the same?
No. Just my body had come into such a homeostasis of 2 to 3 hours of intense cardiovascular activity almost every single day. Going from that to 1 hour of intense cardio to an hour of lifting. Just that shift, which for and still the same almost 7 days a week. Just that shift in and of itself was enough to make me gain weight. So your body can become highly adjusted to anything. Yeah. So you may not have worked out in the past year, 2 years, 10 years. It doesn't matter. I did this little experiment a year ago. I had just quit CDW. I was in a real bad place. I was drinking almost every day from like 2 p.m. It was bad, bro. And I started cleaning up and trying to get my shit together. So I tried just getting up and running a mile. Could not do it. That's right. I got 0.1 of a mile and was like, fuck this. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to run as far as I can without dying. And then I'm going to try again tomorrow. Did it again tomorrow. Did it again. By a month. In only a month, my guy.
Yeah.
I was running a mile.
Yeah.
Without any problem. And if you just it's just taking that first step of saying, I'm going to live a different life. People think of living a different life. And I know for me, every time I tried quitting drinking and changing my life, I was thinking about 40 years from now. What does me being sober 40 years from now mean? What does me being in shape 10 years, 5 years down the road look like for me? I was thinking so big picture. But the minute I started saying, I don't give a fuck what it is a year from now, even a month from now, let me just take a step today. And all of a sudden that mind shift just made accomplishing any goal significantly easier. I stopped. Okay, you set that lofty goal of what you want, but from that point on, never think of that goal again. Think about, I know what my goal is. What do I need to do today? Reverse engineer it to where you can take one step in the immediacy to get there. Because if you think about these grand fucking lofty, I want to change the world, I want to stop coronavirus, you will fail, and you will fail miserably, and you'll become discouraged. So just take a baby step today, and that baby step in 5 years from now, you won't believe how far you've gotten.
Yeah.
So I know that was a bit of a rant, but man, this is just, I'm passionate about this stuff, man.
Well, it's going to be a while before they can take your advice, unless they just do the running part, because
yeah,
not going to be a lot of people at the gym anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, nah, that's the thing, man. You know, you can always tell people who are dedicated to whatever craft it is, because over the past, like I said, I've been still going to the gym, and honestly, if anything, it's not that bad going to the gym because of how many people have stopped going.
Yeah, there's no one there.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody has just stopped.
Yeah.
So, and you could tell the people who are dedicated, because there are those same faithful few who every time I go to the gym at that same time, those motherfuckers will always be there.
Yeah.
Without question.
Working out with some latex gloves and a mask on.
Straight up.
Just bench
people grabbing.
You
know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm not going to find an excuse to not go. What COVID-19 has done for entirely too many people is serve up as a very convenient excuse.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, if they can't do, like, if you can't go to your job, if you can't, I mean, yes, it is an excuse. I get what you're saying, but a lot of, I mean, even if you wanted for it not to be an excuse, you can't really do shit about it right now.
No, but I'm saying on an individual basis. You know, look, we're all human beings. We know you know yourself well enough to know whether you're not going to the gym because you have genuine concerns about COVID-19, or you're not going to the gym because it's like, shit, man, bruh, like there's COVID, so like, you know,
8 more
what
weeks.
am I gonna do?
I'll start in 8 weeks.
I got, you know,
weeks.
what am I going? Like, I can't really do, you know, I gotta, you know,
yeah,
you know the difference. You know, I can't tell you that. You could tell me whichever version, and I'll believe you, but you know in your heart which one it is, man. So I hope that people are like, you could still get up and run.
Yeah.
You could still get up and walk.
Run away from the coronavirus.
Like you said, you could hit some push-ups.
You just run away from the virus. You'll be fucking in shape in no time.
You know what I'm saying? So I hope people ain't using this as an excuse to bullshit. Like, this ain't bullshit in town, bro. You're still alive. You're still breathing. Make the best use of every day. And I'm not telling you got to work out if it's reading for you. If it's starting a project, fucking whatever it is. Yeah. Don't use it as an excuse to do nothing.
Brush your teeth.
Straight up. Straight up, bro.
Wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
Wash your ass.
Wash your ass, man. Fuck, dude.
Man.
It's gonna smell like ass everywhere. I'm telling you, that's the first step to, you know, is like going to shit. Like in the grocery store, is that ass?
I'm not gonna be there. I'm gonna be here. I'm locking the doors. Locking the doors for 2 weeks.
With your dry ass food.
Yeah. Hey, no, it's gonna be real wet. I told you, you gotta pour water in it. You gotta pour water in it. Ain't no way it could be dry. I'll just, you know, if it gets dry, you just pour a little water on it. It did not come with any seasoning though, so I'll just be, I guess you just dump the seasoning with the water and just shake this shit up. I don't know. I haven't used it yet, so I'll let you know. Hey, I got emergency radio too. You crank it just in case.
For real?
Yeah, my mom gave that to me actually. I think.
When? She gave that to you recently?
Like 2 years ago. It's pretty sweet, but it's a flashlight and a radio. Like
I think I've seen
it's a wind up, so like it never runs out of batteries for the radio or the flashlight. It's like
holy shit.
Yeah, I was like, damn. It was only like $20, I think, but it's sweet. It's like,
she got you prepped, bro.
Yeah, if the power goes out, you need to know emergency broadcast. When they put out that repeating broadcast because no one's actually at the studio and everyone's run to their bunkers.
Yeah.
I mean, here we go.
Yeah, man.
I've been kind of waiting for the apocalypse, you know? I've been waiting. I've been seeing if we could survive. We talked about this on maybe episode 1 about, and you were like, you're going to need some bigger guns because if people need food, they're going to break in. They're going to be breaking in for toilet paper is what they're going to be breaking in for.
Yeah, facts, bro. Big facts. You got to wash your ass, bro. Yeah. It always comes down to washing your ass.
I'm going to start barricading doors here soon.
Look, this is a crazy thought I had. Well, not crazy. But we talked about this on the Kobe Bryant episode, is that there was something about Kobe Bryant's death that did something to me. And I think this is true for a lot of people, that we live in this, and I think this is particularly for people who live in first world countries, is that we live in this bubble where we could expect to live to 80. We just go about our everyday lives so comfortably, so unaware of how flimsy life is. We're just so sheltered to the reality of life. And for a lot of us, Kobe Bryant's death broke us out of that spell more so than even deaths we've experienced through our own personal lives.
Yeah.
And this COVID-19 feels like another domino in a chain of events that started with Kobe. And I know that is trying to link two things together that are completely irrelevant, but I'm talking about psychologically it feels that way. That
COVID-19 was like, Kobe, Mamba's gone? All right, I'm coming out. I'm coming out. That's what I was scared of. But he gone, so here we go. Here we go. He's
right?
Like,
so
Mamba's scary.
Yeah. So it's a psychological chain of events that it's peeling that curtain back even further to how vulnerable this life is, to how imagine if coronavirus was killing, bro, even 5% of people that it infected, that ruin us completely. And it's not even killing 1% of people at this current rate. So it just seems like you say about it feels like the end times. I'm sure we're not the only one. Obviously, we're not the only ones feeling that way. That this just feels, it's just been this kind of, since that Kobe's death, there's been this like sense of like, what the fuck is going on? And with this virus, it's just when people were getting back into getting over Kobe and like moving on and kind of putting that cover back over their eyes, just before it was fully down over their eyes, boom, COVID-19, and it's like, fuck, man, like what is going on? So
I mean, you got this time of year, everyone's so happy about March Madness happening.
Yep.
And they, didn't even postpone it. They're just like, fuck, by the time that we could get this tournament back up, these kids are going to be graduated. They ain't even going to be at the school anymore. So there's nothing much we can say that hasn't already been said about this shit at this point. But yeah, it does feel a little different. Maybe the asteroid that hits us will be next. Maybe that'll just put us all out of our misery.
I hope not, bro. I hope not.
Yeah, I read about one this weekend that's gonna hit in 2,880.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but dude, this thing, they're like, yeah, it's definitely gonna hit, and it's like the size. Yeah, they said it would be the size of the one that killed the dinosaurs.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And remember, we obviously listened to that recent Radio Lab podcast about the dinosaur extension. So, maybe, I mean, we won't be around in 800 years, but you can think like, damn, if people are still around in 800 years, we're going to have to get the fuck out of here. Like, Elon.
We better be on Mars, bro.
Elon has like 8 kids, by the way, and I think they're all identical looking sons of his. Like, most of them are, no, I think he has 5 sons. One of them motherfuckers better be just as smart and take over his shit and keep it going and like have a kid, take it over, have a kid, take it over. Like we don't need anybody else. This in Elon we trust right now. Although the Tesla stock is, oh god, it's real bad. It's real bad. I mean, but it's every stock. It's not just Tesla.
It's everything.
It's literally, and that's why I'm not panicking about it at all, because it's like, oh, okay, well, if one was, I mean, like Clorox is probably going up, but if it was just the stocks I held, it would be one thing, but it's literally everyone and everything. So
yeah, it's not unique to you. Everybody's in the throes of this now. And one thing that we got to remind people of is that this is the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't think that's getting said enough. People are like, oh, because the coverage is, because of our current news cycle, right? Even Kobe's death, we get a week before we move on in the news cycle. And everybody's got that same mindset with this COVID. Well, we've been talking about this as fierce as we have for about a week. So people are already getting into their like, oh, next week mode, it will be something else.
But there's nothing else happening.
But like, let me tell you, rest assured, no matter how bad it gets, even if it's not that bad or it is very bad, we are in the beginning stages of it.
Yeah. What the guy Rogan said, actual vaccine that has been fully tested on humans would be years.
Months at the
no, and he said that, yeah, and he said that was without proper human trials. Like, if we were to rush it after just maybe testing it on rats. And it's like, oh God. Okay, so you're saying it's going to be a little while. But I mean,
it's going to be a while.
We'll see. I mean, a lot of it will also come down to how many people get infected and don't die, and they then develop an immunity that they won't get it anymore, and then it'll go away eventually. But who knows how long before that? So yeah, anybody that's pre-existing conditions or elderly has a lot more to worry about right now. And I mean, the same. And the weird thing is, it's like people are like, well, you know, if I get it, whatever. Like, I'm not old. I'm not sick already. I don't have a pre-existing condition. But it's like,
about your parents.
Well, yeah. And if you get it, you can easily, like very easily, spread it to someone who does have a pre-existing condition, who is old, who can't fend it off with just their natural immune system. So it's, you know, it's a lot of people. I think now, as you said, it's forcing a lot of people to think about others and not about themselves. But many people are still doing the me, you know, fuck other people thing. So,
yeah. And I was reading today how scientists are saying how they massively misjudged how fast asymptomatic people are spreading the virus.
Yeah.
That people exhibiting absolutely zero symptoms are spreading it the fastest. So this whole thing, what's going on right now is scientists and the administration are fighting, because the administration is out here saying, oh, if you're not showing any symptoms, you're fine, don't worry about it. It's really those who are sick. And scientists have to are coming out in droves saying, no, people with no symptoms are the ones who are the most worried about, because they don't know it and they're going about their lives and spreading it to people, and it is killing people. So it's like, people, just stay informed. Get some sources you trust. Stay informed. Stay informed. Again, don't panic and read about this every day, because you don't want to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
But if it's just once in the morning where you're like, there's a few sources you trust, let me check these sources. Do any of them give me any information that is pertinent to my life and those around me? If no, shut down the computer, let that shit live for the day. Then tomorrow do the same thing. You don't have to inundate yourself in it, but definitely still stay informed.
Yeah, get on some Call of Duty Warzone while you're at it.
Yeah. Kill some motherfuckers, bro. And this is the last thing I'll say, is that it's crazy how a lot, you know, this is why sports are so important, why they're such a part of the fabric of our society, is that they do serve a great purpose. And not only are they a microcosm of life in certain ways, they are also that thing that we turn to when things are bad. That can give us a little semblance of piece of hope of seeing somebody lift up a trophy, and just give us that, like, that we are all going to be all right. And hope is so important. And the fact that sports have been taken away, it feels like hope in some ways has been taken away for a lot of people. So that's the catch-22 of getting rid of sports. Like, I want these players to be healthy. I don't want anything bad to happen to them. But at the same time, those players would have given a lot of people something to fight for.
Yeah. Bad thing is, though, too, they could have given a lot of people coronavirus, or the people at the stadium could have given it. Yeah. I mean, Rudy Gobert's out here touching every fucking microphone that he can find. Just so joking. Dumb. It was just like, I bet he felt like such an asshole when his thing, he was like, man, God damn it. I just gave it to so many people. All those reporters were sick. And all their families. I mean, the irony in that was very... It almost felt like cosmic. Yeah, like, oh God, is this karma? Karma's working right now. We're seeing it in real time. Real time karma. I don't, just mentioning sports real quick. Did you see that the UFC event on Saturday went ahead at Brazil and they had no fans in the arena?
I didn't. I knew they were doing that. I didn't watch it.
I didn't see. I didn't watch it either. I saw some highlights, but there was some guy that tweeted out like, there's crickets in the stadium, so you can literally hear crickets while this is going off. Like, that's how quiet it is. It was just officials, judges, you know, the referees, the cornermen, and the fighters, and that was it.
That's like practice.
Yeah, it's wild. But like seeing a picture of the empty arena made me think. I mean, sports are so much about the fan, so much. Oh my
god!
Like they're the entire backdrop of what you see on every broadcast, and you don't realize it till there's no one there. I remember when the Ferguson riots made the Orioles play a game with no people in the stadium. It was weird as fuck. I was like, what is happening here? This is like, you can hear all the players talking. Like, you can hear everything so loud on the field. Yeah. And it's like, holy shit, the fans brought so much to this, and you don't even realize it until they're gone.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. That passion, that fervor, that intensity, that enjoyment, that all of that matters so much to sports. I mean, what is it? Like between 60 and like 75% of the home team in all sports wins. It's a huge matter. And it's something like almost 80% of calls at home go to the home team. And you want to talk about a reason for getting officials out of the game.
Yeah.
That statistic alone should show you how human they are. They're so biased, man.
Yeah, it happens.
That stuff matters a lot. And I know players give fans so much shit because fans can be assholes sometimes, but that is such a small segment of fans. Most fans are happy to see you perform at such a high level that is unimaginable. Yeah. And that just as much as they're giving us, we're giving them a lot back too. And it's so evident out from the feeling and the environment when there are no fans in the stands.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, I don't have too much more to say on the topic. I really just have a final thought, so up to you if you have something. It just really kind of it feels like the theme of at least the end of this and what we're talking about is don't take anything for granted. Don't take any of this stuff that in our daily lives for granted, even going to work or like having daycare for your kids or whatever it happens to be. It's you got to be clean right now and isolated, but it'll be back, and don't take it for granted when it is back.
Yeah, man. And I guess the only thing I would add to that, my final thought would be, I know this would be hard for religious people to grasp, but let's everyone assume for a minute that there's nothing after this. Let's just assume. During this craziness, I hope it makes people reflect on their lives, the things they did, they didn't do, they wish they would have done, and see how quickly it can end, man. See how quickly it can end with the possibility, like assuming that there's nothing else. Assume that this is it. That it could be over right now and there's nothing. There's no party in the sky, demons in the dirt. That's it. Make the most of it. It's so beautiful, even with all the pain and misery that comes with it. The joy and the love should be enough to make everyone want to fight to keep this thing going. So let's not panic. Let's get through this shit and just be appreciative of the fact that we get to be alive today, man.
Agreed. Good way to wrap it up. Well, it's been episode 30, a little shorter one, but once society's back to normal, we might have some more shows to talk about.
Stay clean.
Stay clean. Wash your hands.
Yeah.
Wash your ass.
Money in it for the night though. I'm trying to feel right though. So damn. What you think about a drink? Mix it with a little bit of Sprite though. Ain't you on tour with Dizzy right though? Nigga, roll some. You mean to tell me you around all these bomb ass trees and you don't smoke nothing? Fuck it. Bad bitch wanna hit the blunt. Don't mind if I do first. Cool verse, did some new work. Left the hotel, hit the show. Goddamn, it was 2 turns. Crew shirt, that's WTF. Yo, bitch wanna wear that shit to bed. And then we got a smoking. I ain't joking. The way that she started blowing it.